Somebody just fisted my ass. Like, this better be important. I'm back with another drunk reaction, and today I'm drinking Fireball, as I often am. This is an interesting one because, you may have seen this during my birthday marathon. If not, go check out the birthday marathon playlist and look for Cloud Atlas, and then there's a pretty big explanation there. I think. I fucking hated that movie so much. So because I hated that movie, the next movie that was coming out was Jupiter Ascending, and the Wachowski siblings were obviously done both of them. I hadn't seen Speed Racer. I loved the Matrix movies. I never watched Speed Racer, not even a segment, because I just wasn't interested in the subject matter. Like, I didn't give a shit. I'd never played the game or seen the cartoon or wherever the fuck. I know it was like an adaptation of something else, which I had never experienced. So I didn't give a shit. So I skipped that. I did like Sense8. I don't remember if Sense8 came before or after this. That probably after. But anyway, so like the Wachowskis were decent. It's just at the time, it became a really big thing on Twitter. Like, a lot of people were making jokes at my expense because I just would not shut the fuck up about Cloud Atlas. I hated the movie so much. I wanted my $20 back. I wasn't getting it back. Jesus, what's happening with my phone, man? Okay, motherfucker, Jesus. It's like, oh my god, you got moisture in your charger. Fuck off. There ain't no goddamn moisture in my charger. It's been sitting at this fucking desk for fucking hours, man. Now it's mad because I updated the software, right? Like, Anyway, it's probably good that I got knocked off this rant because, point being, I had very high expectations for Cloud Atlas because I love the Wachowskis. Came out of that movie super bitterly disappointed. So then I had very low expectations for Jupiter Ascending, and the only reason I went to go see it was, one, my dad saw the trailer and was like, oh my god, sci-fi, cool. And he would watch anything with sci-fi. And I wanted to go so that I could then go to Twitter and make fun of it because, like I said, I'd gotten quite a bit of engagement on Twitter talking about Cloud Atlas. People thought it was hilarious how much I hated this fucking movie. I even had people tell me, Leo, I thought you were doing a bit, and then I saw it myself, and God, it was as bad as you said. So it's one of those things where, like, I was doing a bit, but I was also 100% being truthful. I wasn't pretending to hate it more than it actually deserved. It was fucking bad. So I wanted to have that same kind of thing with Jupiter Ascending. I was like, okay, a couple years later, let's get some goddamn engagement, man. And a strange thing happened on the way to the movies. It was actually a really good movie. And the reason I liked it is because I knew what they were doing. They were doing the old 20s and 30s serials, like Flash Gordon. That basically, when you used to go to the movie theater, this feels like common knowledge, but I bet younger people don't know this. When you used to go to the movie theater, you would sit down, and they would play, like, newsreels. This is way back, right? The 20s and 30s. They would play, like, news clips like you would see on nightly news at this point, right? From all around the world. Here's some video and here's some audio telling you what's going on in Paris that actually happened 2 months ago, but now you're seeing it for yourself, right? Because that's how long it took. Then you would get some cartoons. You'd get some shit like in the 40s, it would be the Bugs Bunny cartoons, but there's even cartoons before that. You would get a few cartoons. Then you would get a short film. Maybe a 5, 10, 15-minute short film that was just a complete story in 5, 10, or 15 minutes, okay? Then you would get a 20 to 30-minute episode of a longer story. Sometimes it'd be even shorter. It'd be like maybe 15 minutes, whatever. And it would be like 10 chapters would tell the movie. Some of these have been put into movies later, but we're talking about like, Lone Ranger, Flash Gordon, shit. Like, a lot of them are westerns or sci-fi. Those seem to be two big genres for this. And so if you went to the movie theater 10 weeks in a row, you would see the main feature film would be different every week. But before that, you would have this like episode that you had to go all 10 weeks in a row to get the full story. And each week there would be a cliffhanger at the end of that episode. So you would get 10, 15 minutes of story, then a fucking major cliff where they'd be hanging off the side of the cliff, or like their horse had gone off the cliff, and you think they're dead. That's why it's called a cliffhanger, by the way. That's where the term comes from, because they used to do this a lot, where somebody would go off a cliff. And in the next week, you would come back, and they would start the episode, and he's hanging by a branch off the fucking cliff side, right? He's like, they didn't show this the week before. You thought it for sure he was fucking dead. You come back next week, and he's actually hanging on a branch. They didn't show that, right? So if you're keeping track, you're talking about newsreels, 5, 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of that. Couple cartoons, 6 to 8 minutes. Short films, sometimes, not always, like 6, 10 minutes. Then a 15, 20-minute episode. So you're already talking about an hour right there. That's an hour before you get to the feature film, which is about 90 minutes back then. You know, so this was like an entire fucking afternoon. And people get dressed up for this shit too. They get dressed up in their best clothes. They go there to be drinks or be like snacks and maybe meals back then. Who the fuck knows? And they would sit down and they'd be fucking sitting in this movie theater for 4 or 5 hours watching all this shit. And then at the very end, they had what were called trailers. This is at the very end. When the feature film's done, the credits of the feature film are over with, there will be called trailers, trailing all the other shit. Trailers. That's where trailers comes from. Now they're at the beginning of the movie because ain't nobody going to sit through the fucking closing credits. They're fucking gone. So there was no point in putting the trailers there anymore. Back then, people wouldn't fucking leave until the overhead lights came on. Like, they would fucking sit there. I assume they use a bathroom at some point. They would fucking sit there for 6 hours and not leave the building until the lights came on and there's like, hey, we ain't showing nothing else. You can go. We ain't like that anymore. But that's what, so the trailers would be at the very end. This is what's coming up sometime later, you know? And so that was the situation. So Jupiter Ascending is playing off of the vibe of those 15-minute episode cliffhanger type stories. Yeah, so was Star Wars, by the way. A lot of Star Wars had that same vibe. You have a lot of witty dialogue, quick chemistry. There's not a lot of backstory for the characters. Action, 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 action. Sci-fi situation. Wild and crazy shit. Just shit you ain't seeing in any other kind of fucking movie. And then, you know, a bunch of fucking cliffhangers. And, you know, and the whole sum total of the thing will tell a complete story. That's what they were doing with Jupiter Ascending. I fucking knew it because I used to watch those old things on Saturday mornings. You know, like I would see these fucking things have been crammed into a movie. You would see the vibe of them. You say, okay, this was clearly a chapter break. This was clearly a chapter break, right? I used to watch that shit. Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon. Like I think I mentioned Flash Gordon before. Flash Gordon was a big one. Like they did that a lot. Like, in fact, if you're a Voyager fan, you know that eventually in the holodeck they started telling holo stories, which were also that same vibe. What they're doing in the holodeck was the old vibe of those old fucking episodic episodes, right? Those films. That's what Jupiter Ascending is. Now, a lot of people, like all that shit I just said, a lot of people don't fucking know that, right? So they don't give a shit. They don't, you know, that's why this movie didn't succeed. This movie didn't succeed because they didn't have the foundation of knowledge or the nostalgia for this old dead format of storytelling. So they didn't get what was happening here. And some of this, the aesthetic is wild and crazy, off the wall, big over-the-top action and big over-the-top kind of characters, kind of aliens and shit. Just wild and crazy shit, right? That's the vibe. And then a lot of frenetic action. Not a lot of setup. Not a lot of exposition. Not a lot of, you know, explaining shit. That's the vibe, right? So people didn't get that, so they didn't like the movie. Fair. I mean, that's fair. I get it. But see, the thing is, I got it, so I love the movie. So I don't blame anybody who doesn't like the movie. But I got it. But it's just so crazy to me that Cloud Atlas I fucking hated and Jupiter Ascending I really like it. Jupiter Ascending is probably my favorite movie that they did. The Matrix just hasn't, you know, aged well. And probably it's been memed too much and it's just referenced too much. Casablanca, another great movie, been memed and referenced so fucking much you just can't sit down and enjoy the actual movie anymore. You know, it's been, you know, beaten like a dead horse. So anyway, this intro is way too fucking long. I apologize. I'm going to put a little thing tell you to where exactly to go if you want to skip the whole fucking long ass intro. But I love talking about movies and history and shit like that. So essentially, that's the setup for Jupiter Ascending. That's what's happening here. So I liked it. A lot of people don't. But hey, let's get into the shit.
His name was Maximilian Jones, and he was the son of an English diplomat.
See, even the names are ridiculous on this, and that's the way they would be back then. Ridiculous ass fucking names, man.
A planet, B planet.
I mean, you gotta admit, Jupiter's the badass of our solar system. Saturn tries, but Saturn ain't Jupiter. Saturn is a Skeet Ulrich to Jupiter's Johnny Depp, you know. Oh
shit. Somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic, she pushed me out too.
That is a unsanitary ass way to have a baby. I know, like, what first used to have them in caves. But, you know,
without a home, without a father.
We actually have technology and sanitation now.
With Jupiter rising at 23 degrees ascending.
And we have a movie title.
This is supposed to mean that I am destined for great things
We'll see about that.
and that I will find the one true love of my
Yeah,
life.
that's not very likely. Oh, by the way, I paused the movie because I forgot to mention something in my intro because I was so fucking obsessed with film history, which I could literally talk about for hours. I've seen this movie before, and that's rare for me with reactions. There's a few other reactions I've tried to do, like I did like an ensemble, like thing a few times called One Shots on my channel, where I had seen stuff like Hannibal. I don't think I did Continuum. That would be an interesting one to try, but because I love that series. But I've only seen this movie once. I saw it once in the theaters back when it came out, which I think was 6 or 7 years ago at this point. And there's so much ridiculousness here to joke about. And also, I don't do the, oh my God! I'm not that kind of a reaction channel, typically. Now, there's a couple times I'm almost shit my pants because I was shocked. Typically, though, because I'm a writer and a filmmaker, I can see the shocks coming from a mile away. I know they're going to happen. So, I'm never, even if I was an overly emotional person, I would never be that kind of channel. Just because I would see the shit coming. So, it wouldn't be shocking, right? A few times, Ozark, they got me twice, I think. They're the only show to ever get me twice. A lot of shows have got me once. But a lot more shows have never got me at all. And again, I'm not saying I'm some kind of massive Sherlock Holmes intellect. It's because I know the nuts and bolts of the story. The good stories. Good stories set up their shocks because you have to. You have to put the building blocks in place so when you go back and you watch it a second time, you're like, oh my God, I see what they're doing, right? Or that's not really a great way to explain it. Essentially, after the shock has happened and you think about it, you're like, wait a minute, this led up to it, this led up to it, this led up to it, this foreshadowed it. All that's in place so it doesn't feel like they just pulled it out of their ass just to shock you. So, good stories will have that framework that another writer who's not involved with the project can recognize and say, okay, that means this. Now, sometimes they can misinterpret the signs. It's kind of like, if you're like foreseeing the future and shit, you may not interpret the signs correctly, and so you tell the hero to do this when they should have done that because you misinterpreted the fucking signs, right? So that can happen. I can look at the framework and I can misinterpret what that means, but that's how I'll get shocked. Or some shit like Ozark, for instance, a great example. The season 1 finale had a big shock, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. So all that to say this, I'm not a great, oh my God, I'm so shocked channel because most of the time I can see the shit coming. So that's not the kind of channel I'm. And so but if I was that kind of channel, watching something a second time would be a very boring reaction, right? That's not me. I'm always looking for the humorous shit. So it doesn't matter if I've seen something before. I do think my best videos I've done were things I've never seen before. Because there's that speculation element, right? But, like I said, this is something, like I said, I haven't seen in a long time, and there'll still be shit that shocks me that I don't remember. And in fact, I didn't remember that they had this whole preamble with her parents and how her fucking father died. I didn't remember any of that shit. After I saw it, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. But I didn't remember going into it. So I was like, oh, shit, when I came storming in, right? So, long way to say, yes, I have seen this movie before, which was implied, but not actually directly spoken, not in an overt way, in my intro. So, Jesus, I am so fucking long-winded today. I think I need to drink more, so I'll shut the fuck up. Let's get back to the movie. I just wanted to, state it outright. Yes, I have seen this. But no, I don't think that will detract from how good this video is. You be the judge. Let me know in the comments. If you think, wow, this isn't as good as the movies you've done where you haven't seen the movie. That would be informative. That would help me out. Oh, poor dog.
Have you ever seen Harvest?
But I've heard they feel no pain. It's all quite humane, from what I've done.
Yeah, that's what the tomatoes say, though.
Ministry. Most of them are miserable in their lives. What we're doing for them.
Why are you eavesdropping on us when you ain't even on this planet yet, motherfucker?
A little worse for wear. Could it be success doesn't agree with you?
Well, aren't you a shady bitch?
Could it be that failure agrees with you?
Aren't you a shady bitch too, man? You have to fight, man. You can't be. See, this is the difference between men and women. And I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm sure I have sexist roots, as we all do, right? But women typically bully through that shady conversation type of shit. Men, you get one or two of those comments and we're fighting, man. There ain't time to be standing here for 20 minutes trading these insults.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah, sure you did. I do find the concept of some alien out there owning Earth and basically calling it a state. I find that fascinating. Like, you don't see that anywhere else. Like, that's not the kind of story. It reminds me of those old 60s sci-fi novels. That's another source for this, I'm sure. 60s sci-fi novels were wild as fuck, man. You should check them out. If you love sci-fi and you've never read that far back in time, you should check it out. Oh, shit. Here we go. But for slinking in the hall, the alleys. Look, like, this shit is fucking cool, man. You people are some fucking haters if you don't like this shit. Look at this, man. This is fucking awesome. You just don't see this every day. Yeah, what's up? Got a shield, got a blaster, got his fucking hover skate. Eat a dick if you don't like this. I'm not trying to be hateful myself, but the criticism of this movie pissed me off at points, man. Also, it makes you wonder why you don't have a shield that like covers head to toe, you know. It's an energy shield. Maybe the power requirements are just too much if you make it too big. Well, you don't fucking say. It wasn't Batman. You know. I don't remember none of this Cloud Atlas. Jesus, let me get that out of my fucking brain. I don't remember any of this Cloud City bullshit.
Welcome back, Lord Balem. It has been too long.
Am I sniveling good enough?
Wow, what's the occasion? Austin Davies is taking me to dinner.
Just go like that. He won't mind, trust me. Well, I do find interesting, we're at exactly the 20-minute mark, and this is where the plot really kicks off, jump starts.
That's me, hon.
The main plot, like her being introduced to the fantastical elements, exactly 20 minutes into the movie, like almost precisely, like she said the doctor's ready, and I saw the timer click to 20 minutes, like that. When they were in the editing room, they're like, we don't want to go any further than this, and we got to get this shit kick-started, man. That just doesn't seem like a coincidence to me.
It's her. Good. Kill her.
Jesus Christ, Doc. Damn. I know my insurance ain't great, but goddamn. That's right. Eat this laser, bitch. What's up, motherfucker? Worm-looking ass motherfuckers. Man, he just headshotting motherfuckers. Take that, you alien bitch. I would have... The one thing missed up, I think, I wouldn't have had the Vulcan ears. And I actually don't know if this is adapted from some other material. I don't think it is. Which means they had total control, which I wouldn't have done the Vulcan ears. I would have done something else. Do something with his eyes, man, you know? I don't know. That's a very small, minor issue.
Pardon me, Lord Titus.
Only good news is
Hey,
allowed
man.
here, families.
Don't interrupt my fucking orgy.
He says he has
Somebody
to
just
go.
fisted my ass. Like, this better be important.
Send the transport immediately.
At once, my lord.
And then jump in here.
Can't really think about that right now.
Look,
Yeah, that was pretty horrific, actually.
say your name.
They kind of moved that past that kind of fast, but that's some, like, horror movie shit, man. That's a whole genre of horror movie shit. Like, medical horror, you know?
They cut my DNA with the DNA of something like a wolf from a Lycanton bred for the military.
That explains the ears, but still, I would have done something else. Do something with the nose, man. That isn't done very often.
Those things at the point.
Give him, like, almost a snout, you know?
Diuretic
Everything
system
else is normal, but he's got a snout. That would have been interesting.
All right, here. Ready?
Ready.
Hell no, she ain't ready.
Ready to walk out of this.
Let's see if they get this right. I don't remember. Yeah, see, you know the whole Superman catch, he comes up under somebody and they land in his arm? They'd be a fucking pancake. Physics, duh, you know? What you gotta do is you gotta swoop in from the side and maintain their inertia, redirect it sideways, and slowly fucking slow them down, man. Like, you know. They were doing shit like this in the 30s. Imagine how bad the special effects would have been back then. 100 years ago. What's up, motherfucker? You should just kept driving. You know, as I rewatched this, It's still good. I think what it's missing is it should be broad daylight outside. It's just a little hard to see what's going on. Maybe it's my monitor. I don't remember this being an issue on a fucking big screen in a movie theater, but I feel like if this is broad daylight outside, it'd be easier to follow what's going on and it'd be more exciting.
There's 3 primary heirs. The oldest is Balem. He's the one that controls this planet. And
He's a
obviously
dick.
The one
How is it possible for a single splice to destroy an entire fleet of shadows?
It was a mistake.
A mistake.
Yes, it was.
They underestimated him.
The next mistake.
This is on you, motherfucker. You ugly motherfucker.
I hold you accountable.
Exactly. Get your ugly winged ass. That motherfucker be flexing his wings all the time. Like, very unnecessary. We're indoors and you're not flying.
Like from the goddamn dead.
Funny both of us.
I don't remember if he dies in this movie, but it's a meme, so I'm gonna assume he dies in this movie. Oh shit!
How'd you get
Really?
out? Reminding me where I flushed down the
Essentially, the entire point of this scene is, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Girl, this is some black magic voodoo shit, man.
A little gratitude for your cousin Vladi.
Her
this
family
thing was
is
a
like
cakewalk,
super
right?
fucking annoying. It's
Just
my
like
least
I
favorite
said,
part of the movie.
easiest
You'll notice I
movie
didn't have
ever
much to
made.
say about those scenes at the beginning of the movie with their family because they're fucking annoying. You know. I think they're trying to be funny and it just doesn't land. It's kind of like the Ferengi. I just did Star Trek Enterprise with that. The Ferengi, they try so hard to be funny and they just weren't. You know.
We need a plan. We need firepower. She's what you say she is.
Sean Bean always has firepower. It doesn't matter what movie,
Stashes in the back.
what fucking level of technology we're talking about. This son of a bitch always has firepower. Believe that shit. Yeah, see, this fight is much more exciting to me because we can actually see what the fuck is going on. God damn. Too late. You're just too fucking late, dog boy. Actually, no, he made it. Holy shit. Look at the little crop circles. See, they do so much of this shit, man. Like, they just, those little details really make this feel more grounded. Like, okay, this is in line with other shit we're familiar with, you know? Like little gray aliens, people have seen those in the past and talked about them. Crop circles. That shit's cool, man.
Good evening, Your
A
Majesty.
zero-G bed would be interesting.
Allow me to assist.
Probably spend a lot of time throwing up, but other than that, it'd be very comfortable.
Close.
I don't remember much about the fucking politics, so like this very complicated space politics and shit. I'm pretty sure she can't trust a single fucking person she talks to. Like, nobody.
Easier to
But I could be wrong about that. I don't know. Here's a question I have, and I don't know if it gets answered in this movie or not. Since they live so long, is it possible to have a genetic reincarnation while you're still alive? Like, Jupiter Jones grows up, but like the mother is still alive. Like, is that possible? Or is there a spiritual element where that isn't possible until you're actually dead? Is it science or is it spiritual? You know, that's my question.
When you can have the power to change the lives of your family for the better.
You're a stupid, annoying, tedious, unfunny family.
Excellent. I had planned to take you myself, but the Aegis will undoubtedly insist they handle things from here.
Okay, I guess I don't have to shoot you in the face.
If you maybe have something that I could change into by myself while I'm awake.
Yeah, for once in this fucking movie. This is definitely a 2-drink episode.
Stinger talks to
Yeah,
me.
he has a big mouth.
Doesn't matter.
Why are you bringing up old shit?
Sorry, the fact that I have an uncanny ability to fall for men that don't fall for me. Maybe I have defective engineering too.
Or maybe I'm just a fucking idiot.
I have more in common with the dog than I have with you.
I love dogs. I've always loved dogs.
This is starting to go into bestiality territory. Can we not?
And gene print identification from Wilson Trusts.
You know, doing a parody of a tedious experience is still tedious.